Hey y'all, welcome to the blue-green deployments tutorial. Today we're going to go through the blue-green deployment strategy and then why you might use it, why you might not use it, and then see a simple one in action. At the end of the video, you'll have an understanding of what a blue-green deployment is, some code that you can use and make your own. Without further ado, let's get started. First off, what is a blue-green deployment? A blue-green deployment is a deployment strategy that utilizes two identical production environments, a blue and a green. The blue is the environment that is currently being served to the public or the end users. The green is a completely identical environment other than the updates that's exposed to another port, or really exposed to internal testing to be technical. So internally, you can access this new environment and test it, but it's not touching customers or end users just yet. And when we're saying identical, we mean identical. As identical as you can imagine. The same amount of replicas on each, everything's the same. So once everything is ready to switch over, you would go ahead and flip your service to be pointing over to the green, technically making it the new blue. So pretty simple conceptually, two identical environments, and you switch over when you're ready. That sounds pretty good, so why would someone pick this? It's a really valuable strategy because you're able to validate the new environment completely. You're also able to flip over to the new environment without downtime. It's a safe bet because you're able to actually see it as it will be served, and really see it live. What are some reasons that one might not pick it then? Well, some of the limitations are also tied to that upside, the fact that you're validating the environment completely as well, with the same amount of replicas, same everything. This means that you need the infrastructure to complete this on your cluster. And when there isn't an identical deployment you're testing, there's no green, you'll also have unused capacity, or you need to figure out a way to scale back in an automated manner. And as you may have picked up on already, all of this means there's still manual intervention as well. Time out. I want to share some clarification on the terminology as well. I'm talking about a pure play blue-green here where things are identical, but your strategy might be different. We're talking about an approach where the environment's completely matched, but companies or teams may have some differences and still call it this. Or even have a staging and prod where you promote. It's okay. We don't need to be terminology police here. The big thing is really just understanding the concepts. Anecdotally, I think blue-green will happen less often as time goes on. It's a great strategy, but I think we'll see more and more teams pushing multiple times per day to production and having really good testing practices to catch things before they hit the environment, and then also test in production. But your mileage may vary. It depends on the size of the team and so many factors in reality. It's really nice to know what this is and be able to do it. Time in. As always, we're going to get started by setting up a cluster that we can use. I'll be using Minikube for this with Kubernetes version pinned at 1.23.3. The command will be in the description and in the README. So we're going to run this, and we'll also make sure that we use Minikube tunnel afterwards to expose the privileged ports that will be in use. Let's get this going, and I'll see you on the other side. So the cluster's up. Let's move on to the configs. We'll go ahead and get started with the blue environment first. That's going to be our current version, so the one served to the end users. I created a blue-green directory and then two subdirectories, a blue and a green here, and we're going to get started on the blue, the service, and then the deployment blue for the blue deployment. So let's go ahead and start the service. I'm going to copy and paste it over, and we'll walk through some of it. So again, pretty straightforward here. We have the standard service that we've used so much. I'm going to have a couple things that I'm going to add in. You're going to see a service with the selector of deployment blue. And then the version is 1.0.0. In reality, we're going to see I'm using deployment blue. As long as you have a key value, like that's all that matters. It doesn't have to be called deployment. I just think it's very nice to be descriptive, and this, let's say, is a best practice here to call it something like this, but you can call it whatever you want. And then additionally, we're including the version, which could be optional. It really depends on the CD technology that you're using and how you go about this. So let's save this and move over to the deployment. I'm going to copy the deployment here. All right, so we have a similar deployment to what we've used before with a couple updates. So again, I have the labels, apps deployment demo, I have deployment blue, and then version 1.0.0. I'm going to comment these in as well. Deployment blue 1.0.0. Deployment blue 1.0.0. And then I also have a Docker image with a blue tag. So this is going to be the blue. I'm going to go ahead and set this up with a namespace and apply it. So let's do that together. Blue, green. And then we'll set the current context to use that namespace so I don't have to run the flag each time. Context -- current namespace equals blue, green. All right. And then let's apply this. Ready? Blue, green, and the blue. So created. Let's go just confirm everything is good. The deployment is almost ready. And these services, the external IP is not yet ready because Minikube Tunnel is going to prompt me now that it needs sudo access. So go ahead and do that. And we'll check the deployment again. Just approved the port 80 and check the deployment. That's working. And let's check the service. And now it is being exposed here to port 80. Let's go ahead and check it out. I have my app up here. And I misspelled deployment. I'm going to quickly change that and apply it again. And I'm configuring that, and now this should work. And there's our blue app. So our blue is up and running. This is what's being served on port 80. Everything's working as expected. Don't have that little typo like I had. On to the green. We're going to copy and paste these and make some changes. So make it easy. Service green. I'm going to run the service here. So let's go ahead and actually make some updates. I'm going to change all of these to green because they can't be the same service. And we want to have a different deployment name because they can't have conflicting deployments. Deployment is going to be green, and then it's going to be 1.0.1. I'm just incrementing that December. Just a different new version. But again, two services both can't be served to port 80. That wouldn't make sense. That'd be similar to kind of more of a canary, right? So what are we going to do? We need to have a way to access this. So let's serve it to another port, actually. In our case, what we need to do is have a port and a target port. So, and the target port is going to be port 80, and the port is going to be 8080. And let me tell you what that means and what we're doing. So first off, what's the difference between these? The port is the port of the service. So this is where this is going to be accessed, what we're going to jump in and see. The target port is the target port on the pods to forward traffic to. Now, why do we not need to specify the different ports on the blue service also? It's a great question. I'm glad you asked. We assume they are the same for convenience unless you specify them differently. I have some articles and the Stack Overflow to share on the differences between these, and those will be in the description. But for now, onto the deployment to make some changes for the green. All right, so deployment green here. Again, we're going to keep the same amount of replicas. Everything's going to match other than some flags. We're going to make some changes around the deployment name, the color, version, and tag on the Docker image. So we have deployment demo green for this. I'm going to take this green. The deployment's going to be the green deployment. 1.0.1. Same amount of replicas I mentioned. 1.0.1. 1 deployment demo green, 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 and then we're gonna update this to be green and green. I think that should cover everything that we needed. Don't think I missed anything. Excellent. So that's our deployment. This is our new service. Let's go ahead and apply this. All right, so deployments, 2 deployments, deployment demo, and then the green version. And then 2 services, one being served to port 80, the blue, and then 8080 for the green. Let's go ahead and see and verify the green is working. So I'm going to run over to port 8080, and there it is. We have the green app here. So I know to go to port 8080 for internal testing. I'm able to go and see, make sure the green's working, make sure everything's wonderful, but the end users are going to come to the blue app and go to the blue page. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Now that we have validated that green app and we're ready to shift the traffic over to the new one, so make the green the new blue, how would we do that? It's actually going to be pretty simple. Again, the mechanism here isn't as important as the concept. We're just going to update the blue service. So let's run to the service here. And we are going to adjust this metadata because it's still going to be the deployment demo. So that is not actually changing. We're going to make all our updates on the selector. So what it's looking out for. This is the lighthouse searching for anything that matches to serve. So we're going to make the changes we need to and then update the service. So this is going to be changed here. It'll be green. And this is that. So all these need to match. It's an and, it's not an or. So everything here needs to match. There's no partial match option. And now that that is the case, let's go ahead and apply. So you can see the service has been configured. And let's go ahead and check port 80 and see what happened. There it is. Now it is serving our green app as a new blue. It's the new blue. And that's it. That was a way to go about a blue-green deployment strategy and to shift traffic over when things are ready. I really hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Let me know if you also have any questions in the comments below. I definitely see them all, and I'm going to plan to incorporate some into new videos coming up. So until next time, signing off.